Good day, everybody. It's your girl, Deanna Diaz. I'm here with another episode of Boss Talk. If you're not familiar, that means I bring other entrepreneurs or people who are doing great and fabulous things onto this segment to talk about what they got going on, how they started, why they started, and things that you can use to help you in your journey. So today I have the beautiful Miss Aminah Jenkins, all the way from California. Give a round of applause for me, y'all. Yeah.
Actually, I'm in Vegas.
Are you in Vegas? Viva Las Vegas. No, I'm just.
Oh, man.
What you doing in Vegas?
I came out here to start over. Literally.
Okay. When did that happen?
I came out here last year in July, and we got here. I got a job, got a car, moved into my house. This wonderful house that I got right now.
Amen.
Amen. That we still furnishing. Yeah. So we came out here and we made it work, and it's been a blessing.
All right, that's awesome. Now, I have met Aminah through Periscope, and that was such a funny. I can't even remember what I was talking about, but she happened to jump onto my live, and we was having dialogue, and we was really having a good time. And so I know me when I meet people and we have a good time and we vibe, then I just be like, come on, let's be friends. So since then, that had to be about what, 3-4 years ago?
So, yes, 4 years ago. That's easy.
I know, when you think about it, it's like, geez. So I mean, use all them social media apps, people. You never know who you're gonna come across.
Never know who you're gonna come across. That's before Little Burrito.
Girl, you met me before the burrito. That is right. That is right, hunty. And I'm gonna make my way out there as soon as I stop being scared to get on these planes and catch these flights. I'm gonna come out there.
Let me know. Everybody always, we went to the place where everybody always make it here at least once.
Yep. Yep. And I've been there a couple of times. So, but yeah, it'll be glad to actually see you in person.
Always online. That's right.
Okay, but we are here. I'm talking about how we become such great friends, but we're here to talk about what you got going on. And first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you from, and what you got going on.
I'm from California. That's right. That's the truth there. Raised in Inglewood. And the Wood. And I have 3 wonderful kids plus my bonus child.
Aww.
And working as a caregiver and now writing books and whatnot.
Writing books, and that just drills down to why we're here. Okay, this young sister right here. Huh?
Did you like that slide?
I did. I like that. I like that plug all the way. So go ahead and tell us about your book.
So I wrote an ebook, and it's called 5 Steps on How to Survive Living with People. It's basically a guide of living, like being in transition. It could work even when you're homeless. So my backstory is I was homeless 7 years. I lived in 19 different places with my 3 kids. And in doing so and going through that situation, I figured after when we came out to Nevada, let me go ahead and help somebody else out with the stuff that I accumulated in living with people. So, how the ins and outs go in when you're coming in and all of those kinds of things. It's a transition place, but you can utilize that place of transition. It doesn't have to be that you're just sitting there. You can work a plan while you're there so that doesn't have to be the end all to be all. So that's what the book is basically about. 5 steps on how to survive. So from, packing your stuff away to having a plan that you can execute on exit date, coming in with a plan with the people that you're living with, things of that nature, is what's inside of this basically guide on how to survive. Because people don't understand that there's like a plan you have to work when you're living with people, that whether it's family, friends, or even strangers, because I've had strangers take us in. There's always a plan. And when you go in without any kind of structure, you can get comfortable and lackadaisical. And then you're just like, and then it becomes a problem. But if you come in and you have a plan and you have a date of exit, then you can basically get through it. So that's why
Absolutely.
inspire and encourage. It has prayer in it. It has scripture. That's what I am, a woman of God. And I wanted to put that in there to give people hope that it's not the end. Because I know I've been there with kids staring at me like, hey, so it can be a very unpleasant experience, but you can make it pleasant by having something that is like a guide to get out, 5 steps and work them. And even when you get off of that, your lane, get back on it and keep going, because it will work itself if you go ahead and work it. You'll see the ending, and then you'll start to be able to check stuff off like, yo, I did that. Okay, I did that. Okay, I
To make
did.
yourself feel good that you're accomplishing things.
And it'll keep you going. And it keeps you inspired and in a place of hope. Because a lot of people, especially in the pandemic, have ended up having to go stay with family.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
people
it's been tough.
have been furloughed. People have been, where they're in the middle of, and should I go back to work? Am I on unemployment for a while? Like, what do I do in this pandemic mode where things are still uncertain? And when you find yourself living with somebody, it is different, especially when you've been living on your own for so long.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of attitudes, emotions, people get tired, even good people get worn out when people are living with them. So if you have a plan and a day to exit, you have something to look forward to and to work towards. So I was like, let me get an ebook together and help somebody, that's in that place of transition, and do something good, get something good coming out of it. When I started it, I was homeless. When I ended it, I was in my house.
Hey,
Yeah.
I felt that.
No, for real. And I didn't know that till my writing coach was like, yo, shout out Ty. You did this, this. You started off, you weren't in your own place. And I said, no, we was at a hotel. Then we was living with people. Then we got our own place. And in that, I was like, when I wrote the 5 steps, I was doing the 5 steps, like for real. And like
That's what makes it so much more real, is because those are literally steps that you took to get to where you're at. And like that in itself is dope. It's unfortunate that you had to live that, but in the same sense, it's like that's major, that's big. Like those steps are real. Like there's all these gurus that say, oh, you do this, this, and the third, but they really ain't lived that. You know what I mean? So how could they give you this information, but you really live that? So that means what you have done actually works, and it can work for so many other people in real situations. That's amazing.
Like a formula. Work it and it will work for you. It was so real to get in. And I was so excited too. Because at first I was like, oh, I wanted to finish it where I was at, but I was so excited to finish it actually here in my new home, because I was able to end the book saying that, like come into it like, hey, I did the work and this is where I'm at right now, completing this book for you, after I went and worked these steps, so yeah, it's pretty dope. It's pretty.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, child. I just
Don't make it run.
girl.
You, because people don't understand it, and then nothing but God. So God be all the glory, because I could have gave up. You don't know how hard it is. I lost my parents, in
Mm,
all of this, my grandparents. This is stuff that, those are the staples that babysit. I went through a divorce, you name it. And that's the next book. That's where I put all of it in there. But I
mm.
start with the ebook to build up to why, this is why you have this ebook, because I went through this. I mean, it's a tell all book. So, you know, it
Oh,
it's not it really would, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're author, that's dope, notoriety. And I'm like, no, not really, because that book is ugly. It's got beauty in it, but it's ugly. It tell a lot, good, bad, and ugly, and not just me, but family and all that stuff. So it's one of them books where you're like, oh, should I? And I'm like, yeah, you should.
yeah. Yes, you should. Absolutely.
It's the truth. And once I started writing it, my coach was like, hey, you're putting it all on paper. When you close that last chapter and you put the end, that's where you leave it in the book. No more to pick that ugly stuff up, no more. It's now literally the past, but it's for somebody else to gain that understanding and to help them through what they went through, because every dark cloud had a silver lining. There was never
Hmm.
or just left me. I mean, hello, I'm on here with my beautiful sister, okay, being interviewed over a book which came out of tragedy, you know? And so when people see and they're like, oh, such a, nice thing or whatever, but it came from tragedy, it came from a, a place of trauma,
A
and
real place.
a real place, you know, uh, this was not something we had to dream up. This was something we lived, and it's something that needed to be told, because I think that it will help other people to tell their story. There's a lot of stories out there that people are not telling because of fear and judgment. And it's like, if any time is the best time, go and lay that out right now.
Hmm.
Let,
Absolutely.
let go of it. You know,
Absolutely.
vision last year, it was like 2020 is the vision year. And it was, because if you don't got good vision now in 21, I don't know what to tell you. But this is the time when you take the visions that you had and all the things that God gave you and you come and manifest it.
Real talk. Real talk. So I'm gonna ask you real quick. What what exactly brought you to homelessness? Because I always hear the saying, "You're one step away from being homeless." Now, how real is that statement, being that you lived it?
It's very real. And a lot of people will say, oh, if you should have did this and you should have did that. Well, I always keep it spiritual, because that's who I am. And it started in the supernatural first, and spirit. It came in the spirit first. It's like I felt spiritually homeless, and then it manifested
Mm,
actual natural place. It came
mm,
and it was like, how did I get here? Well, my husband left. He didn't want to be married anymore. He left. He took all the money, and I
mm,
place of zero, zero, zero balance in the account, coming from having lots of money because my mother had passed away. So I found myself with 3 babies, fighting for custody of them in a nasty divorce. And so we lost the first apartment because I was a at-home mom. Okay.
mm,
And nothing about it, but baby, when I tell you, it would be a whole nother different story on this end if I knew what I knew now then. But so I wasn't prepared, and it was almost as if it was a death, even though
mm,
at the time was still living, it felt like that because someone else had left the scene, and now I got to figure this out, and I have to figure it out without the dynamics of family around me,
mm,
because the village that usually picks up when you're going through a divorce and babysits and picks the kids up, they were gone. So now it's just me
mm,
having to trust family I don't really know and strangers, and having to do little odd end things to get them there, leaving work early to go pick them up and take them to the rec center and going back to work. That kind of stuff. It led us to losing the house. I didn't have the money
mm,
to keep it. So we end up living with somebody, and it just spiraled from there. It was like bouncing, bouncing. And I got an apartment, and then I couldn't keep that, lost my job, and,
Mm.
and back into this thing. But I found out later that it was more spiritual. It was like I didn't know my place in God. I didn't know where I was. So I was literally wandering, it felt like, even though I was
Mm.
with somebody. I mean, we've been down to the car, okay, being in the car, hotel rooms, you name it. God did a lot of stuff in between all that, that kept us going and that kept me close to him. Why nobody can take that away from me, because he did things that literally my kids was like, whoa, because
Mm.
he did it. You know, we were out living with people, trusting them to be what they said that they were going to be on the coming in. That's why the book was written, because people didn't keep to their word. And so going in and getting things notarized, going in and having a plan, get them to sign something that says you agree that the plan that I've given you, you know, you're okay with it. So that if they try to do anything, you can go to court. Or if they try to take you to court, you do have, you know, a paper trail, and you have your behind covered, so that you're not like, well, she said, and they're like, well, did you have anything? This is why it was necessary to do a 5-step, so that you know that you're important and you're worth having paperwork, so that you can cover yourself, especially when you have children. Because
Right.
it's not just me you're putting out. You have an issue with me that is a personal issue, that's fine. But along with me go 3 babies, you know? So it started to make sense, like, hey, coming in, I'm giving you a heads up. This is what I plan to do. I'm gonna be here for 6 months if that is okay. I'm gonna work this plan and I'm gonna be out by this date. And while I'm here, if there's any money that's due, what is that up front? And it needs not to change, because people will have you accommodate them so they can go and spend all their money and then put all the bills on you because they know you don't have anywhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
You
Taking
know,
advantage.
taking advantage. And that was a lot of mine too. I ended up paying people's rent, okay, trying to get out on my own, but I'm paying yours and I can't get into my own because it's like treading water, you know.
Dang, man.
Well, I don't have, you know, and the whole thing, it's just like, okay, we need a plan, because this can't continue on, you know. And I wish I would have found out sooner, but it was for a reason. You know, it happened when it was supposed to happen, that we got out here and we, you know, are making it work, and God is, you know, taking care of things. Like, I'm literally at so much peace right now. And I've not,
Mm.
like, I really feel like I haven't had peace since my mother died in 2004.
Mm.
It was like my best friend left, and she's the person that I would call and be like, Mom, what do you think? Mom, what do you think? You know,
I
or
know that feeling. I know.
what do you think? What do you think about this? Maybe I shouldn't, you know. And so dealing with that and dealing with people, you know, family taking advantage, friends taking advantage, people that you never would have thought turning. You're like, what is this spiritual thing? And it would be over the same thing everywhere. And I was like, there's something connected. And I had to go to work in prayer too. People don't want to talk about prayer, but baby, it's a real thing.
It
And you
is.
do it. You better know how to break through heaven, because that is what kept us. My kids they knew when it got cracking, they like, hey, we need to pray. Yeah, let's do it then. You know, because it was something that I needed to do in order to stay grounded. Like, Lord,
Okay.
all the holy hood is about to come out. I need, because I'm blessed, but I still fight. I need you to understand that. Don't come for my kids because I was born in a different kind of place. Don't do it. Don't do it. You know,
Right.
people, it's like, okay, I'm saved, but don't do that, because
I,
I ain't
right. Oh, I know.
okay. I ain't all of hey, don't do it. Don't do it.
So we're almost down to 1 minute left. How many children do you have? I mean,
I
you
have
said you have three. How old are they? Is what I meant to ask you.
22, 19, and 15 is the baby.
Oh, see. Oh, okay. Um, well, got down to 1 minute left. Tell everybody where they can find you and when is the ebook coming out and when am I going to get my copy?
So D is gonna get her copy as soon as we get off of here.
Okay. That part.
You want to get the PDF, all you got to do is hit me up on my Facebook, author Aminah Jenkins. That is author Aminah Jenkins on Facebook. Spell Aminah, last name Jenkins. If you want to find me on Instagram, it is also author Aminah Jenkins.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that, sis. I'm so glad that our cross has passed virtually.
Yeah.
And I really feel deep down in my heart that
We
we are going to actually sit down and have brunch
come
for
on.
real
Speak
one day.
it says words,
Yes.
okay.
All right. Well, thank you, sis. My daughter's coming in here to let me know that I've been sitting in here too long, but don't go nowhere. For everybody who's watching, thank you so much. Okay, yep. For everybody who's watching, make sure that you check out her information down in my description bar below. Leave a comment on how this episode made you feel. And if you would like to jump onto this segment of Boss Talk, make sure that you use the email that I have in my description bar below. But most importantly, make sure you like. And since you like, you might as well subscribe. All right. And be looking out for her ebook. Just know I get mine first. And I'll holler at y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in.